In the small, forgotten town of Blackhollow, nestled deep within a dense, ancient forest, stood an old, decrepit house. The locals called it the Widow's Lament, a name that sent shivers down the spines of anyone who dared to speak it. The house had been abandoned for decades, ever since the tragic death of its last occupant, a reclusive widow named Eliza Crane. Eliza had been a woman of mystery, rarely seen by the townsfolk. She was said to have dabbled in dark arts, communing with spirits and casting curses on those who crossed her. When she died under mysterious circumstances, the house was left to rot, its secrets buried within its crumbling walls. One cold, moonless night, a group of friends, Emma, Jake, and Sarah, decided to explore the infamous house. They were thrill seekers, always looking for their next adrenaline rush. Armed with flashlights and a sense of bravado, they approached the house, its silhouette looming ominously against the dark sky. As they stepped inside, the air grew thick and heavy, as if the house itself was alive and breathing. The floorboards creaked beneath their feet, and the walls seemed to whisper faint, unintelligible words. Emma, the most skeptical of the group, brushed it off as the wind, but Jake and Sarah exchanged uneasy glances. They moved from room to room, their flashlights casting long, eerie shadows. The house was a labyrinth of decaying furniture, broken mirrors, and faded portraits of people whose eyes seemed to follow them. In the parlor, they found a dusty old gramophone, its needle resting on a cracked record. Against their better judgment, Jake wound it up and set the needle in place. A haunting melody filled the air, slow and mournful, but as the music played, the whispers grew louder, more distinct. The friends strained to make out the words, but they were just beyond comprehension. Sarah, feeling a growing sense of dread, suggested they leave, but Jake, determined to uncover the house's secrets, insisted they press on. In the study, they found a journal belonging to Eliza Crane. Its pages were filled with cryptic writings and strange symbols. As Emma flipped through the journal, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic set in as they fumbled in the darkness, the whispers now a cacophony of voices, each one more desperate and anguished than the last. Suddenly, the walls began to bleed, dark, viscous liquid oozing from the cracks and crevices. The friends screamed, their voices lost in the maelstrom of sound. Shadows moved on their own, forming grotesque shapes that reached out. Emma dropped the journal, and as it hit the floor, the house seemed to come alive, the walls closing in, the whispers now deafening. In a final, desperate attempt to escape, they ran towards the front door, but it was no longer there. The house had trapped them, its malevolent presence consuming them. The last thing they heard was Eliza Crane's voice, clear and cold, whispering, "You should not have come." The next morning, the townsfolk found the house silent and still, as if nothing had happened. But those who dared to look through the windows saw the portraits on the walls had changed. Among the faded faces of the past, there were now 3 new ones: Emma, Jake, and Sarah, their eyes wide with terror, their mouths frozen in silent screams. And so, the Widow's Lament claimed more souls, its walls forever whispering the secrets of those who dared to enter. The house still stands, a grim reminder of the darkness that lurks within Blackhollow, waiting for the next curious souls to cross its threshold.